welcome to Industry Insight Sessions from Change in Education. My name is Amos Madra and I'm a careers advisor for Change in Education. And in this program, we speak to employers about their own career journey and tips and advice that they might offer to you. Joining me today is Scott. Scott Norville is the Managing Director of Silverstone Fleet Management, who specialise in car and van leasing. Scott has won a lot of awards over the last few years. He's also a member of the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association, so he's got quite a bit of experience. Scott, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us here today in Industry Insight Sessions.
Thanks, Amos. Thanks very much.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are today?
Yeah, certainly. So I set up Silverstone Fleet Management in 2012, so about 8.5 years ago now. It's just myself. We started, it was really primarily looking after companies, local companies, and private individuals as well. So in the first year, probably about sort of 30 to 40 vehicles in the first year is what we leased. That ranges from anything sort of small to large vehicles and vans as well. Currently, even in the midst of COVID, we'll be looking about sort of 600 vehicles this year is what we're going to be doing. We really do focus on certain things. So we focus on customer service, the customer journey, and really trying to treat people and customers, I should say, how we would want to be treated. So having that sort of ethos as a business, it sort of works really well. And we have been awarded many awards for that. So, and it is, don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. We have our ups and we have our downs, and I think especially this year in particular, it has been a struggle in many sort of areas of the business. But like all these things, I've got a strong team around me, and we just push the business forward as much as we can.
So, I mean, that's a great story there, and how the business started and how things are going at the moment, despite, with the pandemic and everything else. You seem to be still, weathering the storm and being able to deal with everything that's been thrown at you. How did you, in particular, get to where you are today? What was your career path?
So, motor industry is where it started from. Started that as, to be honest, it was more sort of default. So I suppose that when I was at school selling cars, it didn't really sort of cross my mind. It was more sort of graphic design. So I loved the graphic design element back when I was at school, and that was many years ago. I did a thing back then called a GMVQ in art and design. So I really wanted to be quite creative, do a lot of things quite arty, I should say. But as things transpired, opportunities arose, and I sort of started really working in a factory at a sort of young age, probably sort of 17, 18, just to try and get some money. A lot of my friends, they're at university. And I thought what I really want to do is just, to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do back then. Everything was just really a bit of a blur. I suppose I was living day by day. And I just had a bit of a hankering for the police force, believe it or not. So I really wanted to be in the police. So cut a very long story short, I applied for the police, and I was young. So I was 18 years old at the time. And I went through the qualifications, and I went through the interview processes, and it got right to the very end. And the advisor then, I had an interview. There was two of them, two sergeants. And they said, look, to be honest, we'd like you to come on board, but we feel that you haven't got the worldly experiences that we require to become in the police, to become a policeman. But you are young, and what I sort of highly recommend is maybe working with customers, just travel as well, try to do that, and come back to us in a couple of years. So that was a turning point for me. So I thought, well, what do I need to do? So I had a good friend of mine, and his dad actually he ran a car dealership company based in Northampton, and it was a Hyundai dealership. So I asked him, and I went for an interview to become a trainee salesman, because I thought that would be a perfect fit to deal with general public day in, day out. And I thought, on top of that, I do need to do things outside of work. So I enrolled myself into Taekwondo. So I thought that would be a good part as well, trying to look after myself, with a career plan, I suppose, of becoming going into the police force. So I started working as a trainee salesman. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Dealing with the general public, dealing with customers day to day. The days went very fast, the weeks went fast, and the years went fast. And within sort of 4 years, I was still there, not as a trainee, but as a salesman. Black belt in Taekwondo, had my own class as well, so I was an instructor as well. So all things were lining up. Then I went once again back into the recruitment stage of becoming a policeman again. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work. It just didn't work out. I don't know why. It just didn't work at that particular point. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm still young, so still sort of 21, 22 at that time. Still working at a car dealership, and then things then opened up. So I become a sales controller, which means more involvement with the processes of sales, processes of the sales team and the department. Fast forward that then probably 8 years, I then moved then into a premium dealership, a company that's based in Northampton called Wollaston BMW. So I was selling BMWs then on the corporate side, which means that I was dealing with customers, corporate businesses day to day, which was the polar opposite from what I was dealing with before. But on this instance, it was dealing with local businesses, and I was doing that for 8 years. And at that particular point, once again, I had a lot of customers that I was dealing with every single year, that they were coming to renew their vehicles. And one by one, my customers were saying to me, look, we want to deal with you, but we're just fed up with BMW. But that's all we've ever had. So I'd love it if we can have something different. Can you do that? And I said, well, no, not really, because I'm selling BMWs. That's all I really can do. So this was just after the financial crash in 2008. And the car dealerships and the industry was very difficult. It was a very trying time for everyone. And I was losing a bit of momentum. I was losing a bit of motivation within the car industry. So my sister, she owns a business based in Northampton once again. And she sort of said to me, look, do you fancy coming on board? We've got another sidearm, another business, and it's environmental management. So you'll be looking after local of businesses. Would you like to do that? Would you like to look after the businesses? And it'll be something new and something challenging. And I said, well, yeah, I'll do that. So that's what I decided to do. So after 8 long years of working for this BMW dealer, I then went on board to work for my sister. And the first day, unfortunately, the account which I was supposed to have managed, that never happened. That account never, they didn't come on board with the business. So actually, I had no account to manage. And I was in a bit of a quandary at this time, because I've just had a leaving do 2 days before. I've just started a new business. And they said, well, why don't you go back to your old job? Can you do that? I said, well, no, I can't really. I've just left. So with the role I had at BMW, I was dealing with brokerage. I was dealing with brokers, and that was my main sort of source of inquiry. I was looking after my brokers as well as local businesses. So I thought, well, do I start something new? At this point, do I take the risk? I had a mortgage. I was in a relationship. I wasn't married or with family, but I had a mortgage, and it was a trying time. And I thought, do I do it? And I was umming and ahhing. Half me said, yeah, give it a go. The other half said, no, just stick to what you know and just go back to a car dealership and just do that. But I thought, right, I'll just take the plunge. I'll just do it. So I sort of swatted up as much as you could do back then. YouTube, believe it or not, was about, but it wasn't as buoyant as it was now. But I was learning a lot of things about business and these sort of things. If you're starting a new business, there's no instruction manual. There's no books. Well, there is books, but having a team, employing people, it's very new, it's very different, and if you're not used to it, it can be quite challenging and quite hard. But I started it, and within the first couple of weeks, I must admit I was very nervous. I thought, am I doing the right thing? Speaking to a lot of my old customers, but the challenge that I found was that because I was very new, not myself, but as the business was very new, it was people didn't really take me seriously because I haven't had that long trading pattern, that long, I haven't been trading that long. A lot of customers, they didn't have the trust in me because I couldn't show anything. I couldn't say, well, yeah, we've been trading X amount, we've got these awards. I didn't have anything. It was starting from scratch. So that made me very humble. And I started it very, very slowly. I didn't rush into anything. And then I gradually built the business very slowly, dealing with local businesses and individuals. Then all of a sudden, I suppose if I would just rewind that back, probably the first 2 or 3 days starting that business, the place where I was working out before, there was a few people there that said to me, it won't work. What you're doing, you're going to fail and you'll be back doing what you've been doing in the industry. And don't get me wrong, that they weren't being, they were being very negative, extremely negative. But I sort of took that as, okay, well, I'm going to show you what I can do. And I'll prove to you that I can succeed. Because the biggest thing with what we do here is that we need finance partners on board. And to get these finance partners, you have to have a certain amount of trading history. You need to do a certain amount of volume in terms of cars that we lease and vans. And you need some great accounts as well. And it's a bit like the chicken and egg situation. How can you do the volume if you haven't got the trading partners at the beginning? So a lot of people said, you can't get the trading, you can't get the finance partners, you won't be able to get them, they won't deal with you, they won't listen to you, and you're going to fail. Because they said that to me, that was the driving force and the motivation that I needed to succeed. And even to this day, I remember those conversations like it was yesterday. And now, don't get me wrong, we've been trading, next year will be 9 years. I still class ourselves as a fairly young business because there's businesses in our industry that have been trading 20 plus years. So I still class ourselves as a fairly young business. And I'm hoping we've got many more years to come. But we're very humble of what we do. And I always look back and think, look, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We're pushing it forward. And that really just gave me the grounding of that person. And I'm not going to name names, as you can imagine, but I can sort of, and I've had the conversation with that person quite recently. And I said, look what we've done now. Just look how far we've come. So that's a bit of an overview of where we are. So now with Silverstone Fleet Management, it's been a rough. I would say it's been a rough time. Far from it. This year has been very difficult. It has been. I've got a strong team around me now. We're still looking to recruit as well as the years, as the months progress. We start to find the volume is getting better. More confidence in the marketplace as well. But because we sort of just look at everything, we look at all of our processes, and once again, we treat our customers as if we would treat members of our family. And because we've got that ethos, as I said, right from the start, it's worked well for us.
That's incredible. I mean, great story there. And it's, that self-awareness, recognizing when something wasn't going, from starting from the time when you went for the police recruitment, from them telling you to go and get a bit of experience, little did you know that your world was going to completely change. And you know, it's thank goodness they did that, because had they not suggested that, you won't be where you are today. You've clearly started a business that's been very successful. Um, I mean, leasing has not been really that. It's not been going for that long, so I wouldn't say that you know you know you're a novice in this industry. I would say that I think you would be classed as one of the businesses that might have been there for quite some time. 9 years is a long time in,
Yes.
especially automotive business, and especially the way things are changing every day. Leasing is something that most people do now over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
nine
that's right.
years ago, that would have been a strange
Concept.
concept if you told somebody, when you think about leasing,
Mm,
wouldn't understand what it is. Even up to today, I don't think people quite know what leasing is. It's just,
no.
still trying to get to grips with it. So it seems that you've got the experience there. As things have worked out for you. But would I be right in saying that had it not been for your hard work, you wouldn't be where you are today? And especially with those naysayers.
That's right. It is. I'm a firm believer of positivity. And I feel that in even in the darkest of times in business, starting, I think the statistics are nowadays that businesses, I think 95% of businesses fail within 3 to 4 years. Having that, knowing that just spurs you on, and having a positive attitude, even like I said, even in those dark times of thinking, am I doing the right thing? Can I do this? Can I achieve this? It's having that attitude, that positive mental attitude that yes, we can do it, and you can see that we can do it. It's very similar to where we are now. As you can see the beams at the back. We're in like an old barn conversion,
Yeah.
and I had a meeting with the team. Probably it must have been about 6 years ago, where we was working in another office. It was a sort of shared office, serviced office, I should say, and it was a very small office. So it was quarter of the size of what we've got here. And I was doing a presentation to the team one year, and I remember it clear as day. I had the PowerPoint presentation. I said, "Look, this year is going to be our year." I think this must have been 2014, maybe 2015. And I said, how I can see it in my mind's eye is that the business will be there. We'll be doing more vehicles. And I had a picture of a barn with the open beams overlooking the countryside. And I even think this picture had cows in it, I think. And the whole team looked at it and they thought, oh, that looks lovely. And 3 years ago, we moved in to a barn overlooking a field with cows in. So
Incredible.
it just shows.
Visualization. It
I'm
works,
a,
doesn't
I'm
it?
a 100%. I am an absolute firm believer of that,
Yeah.
because you have to visualize it. You have to think that is what's going to happen. We are going to get there. If you have any doubts, of course you'll have doubts. Doubts will come in all the time, because we'll have, as you said, you'll have the sort of the people that will say you can't do that. It's not going to work, and there'll be hurdles. We've gone through a fair share of hurdles. Let's not even talk about COVID, but the hurdles we're facing literally today. We've got Brexit around the corner. If there's a no deal Brexit, the car price is going to be 10% more. We've got all sorts of various different things. We've got electric cars now, so
That's it.
2030.
10 years. Yeah.
10 years, yeah. So
Yeah.
all of these they're here for challenges, and they're here for us to succeed and to push forward. But visualization is definitely by far the key, and it's having that mental attitude that you can win, you can do it, and you can succeed. And that's the attitude that I instill in all of the team here. I've had members of the team that started and they were very sort of shy, a little bit negative maybe, and just having that attitude of, look, we can succeed as a team. It just works. How? I don't know. It's like it's magical thing from the universe that comes in, but it does. It
Good
does work.
vibrations. That's
It
what
is,
I say.
yeah.
So, what's your day-to-day tasks like?
Okay, so I suppose at the moment I'm working harder now than ever have done, and I find that usually it tends to be the case. So my usual day to day, I'll get here for about 6:30 in the morning. I'll set up then an agenda for the meeting. So we have a sales meeting every morning. We go through what we've got going on as a team, challenges that we may face, maybe, I don't know, some deliveries that have gone out, that there's been some issues. So we touch on that with the sales support team. We then get some structure within the day. So we sort of look at our customer base, say, right, this is what we're going to do. Then it's a bit of and this meeting only lasts 20 minutes. So we then sort of have some ideas, what we're going to do differently today than we haven't done yesterday. So we all talk, we all sort of just try and get some ideas down, and then we just then crack on with the day. So my day-to-day tends then to be, I'll look at advertising first off. So we advertise on various different platforms, but primarily we do a lot of Google advertising. So once again, this is a skill that I've had to learn myself. I wish that we had Google advertising or analytics or AdWords at school back then, which I could have learned, but unfortunately that wasn't the case back then. So these are the sort of skills that I've had to learn myself. Luckily with Google, there is a Google Academy, which is free of charge. So you can just learn certain skills with that. So I'll just sort of see exactly what's going on with our advertising to set up for the day. Look at the inquiries that we've had as well, because we've got a live chat facility on the website that runs 24/7. So people can go onto the website, they can engage with us, find out information of their next vehicle. That comes through as an inquiry. So we just make sure that we've got all the inquiries all lined up. Usually we've probably got anywhere between sort of 10 to 15 inquiries a day that we can go at. I'll then liaise with the sales support team to make sure that the emails are being sent to our new customers that have just come through, to say that the sales team is going to engage with them in the next couple of hours. I do that, and then I then start looking at various different things. So social media is a massive part of what we do. We use the likes of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn at the moment primarily is our main source. We do a lot of video content on there. Once again, something very new to us. We've only been doing it for the past year. Very daunting as well at first. Never gets easy. It gets just a little bit more. I suppose you just get a little bit more used to it. But so we have some campaigns, so I look at that, and then really I'll then sort of just sit down with members of the team to see how they're getting on, if there's any support. Then usually I'll be speaking to the accountant, so I'll be making sure that everything's all okay in terms of the bank, cash flow. I have a business manager that I speak to virtually on a daily basis to be looking at forecasts, where we need to be, where we're going. Are we at plan? Are we where we should be? If we're not, what do we need to do? So it's more strategy that we get into place. And then the main thing then is really picking the phone up, speaking to a lot of customers that I deal with, my core customers that I speak to on a daily basis, to make sure everything's fine. Just to reach out. If they need anything, just please give me a call. And then really see how the day then unfolds. I tend to find that we may have some issues as the business starts to kick off during the day. There may be some issues I need to sort out. The phone may go. There may be people that are trying to maybe sell me something I don't know that I need to sort out. So yeah, it's a very, very sort of busy day. That will then lead up to about 5:30, but not forgetting that I'll make sure that I have half an hour out of the business to clear my head. I'll actually go for a walk, and it's something I've started to do for the past probably the past 8 months. I've started to do this. For me, it just breaks me away from the computer, and it just clears my mind. And I usually probably do a video or something for LinkedIn, or I may do something on that half an hour walk. Get back then into the business, a few more hours, see what's going on. Then I'll leave then about 5:30. I'll get home. I've got a young family, but then I actually come back then about 8:30 for another hour, because I find that hour coming back into work is absolute gold, because there's no phones going off. There's no distractions, and I can really plan then what I'm going to do the following day. So as an overview, that tends to be my usual working day.
That's a jam-packed day. It's a very busy day, isn't it? Wow.
It is. It is. Yeah. There's no sort of let up, but
Yeah.
that's the world that we're in.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what we're doing now via Zoom, we're having this meeting. I didn't have to do anything apart from just load up the computer. Usually, pre-COVID, we would probably be having a face-to-face. I'll probably come and travel, come to see you. So that would take probably about an hour, dependent on where I'm going. The meeting would probably last an hour, then an hour back. So that's 3 hours out of the business. And now, because of Zoom, it seems that the productivity is a lot higher because I can jump on to Zoom, which I use all the time. I can conduct a meeting, and I can then go back to my normal job as such, my normal role. So I'm finding that things are a lot quicker now, a lot quicker. Productivity is at an all-time high. But the main reason really that I do come back is that sometimes I'll have a customer, let's say, that's reached out to me, but because I've been so busy, I haven't the time to have gone back to that person or that business. So that hour at night gives me that time to then go back. So no stone is left unturned. I'll never leave anything until the next day. We're very responsive. And I suppose that's really why we do get recognised locally and nationally with the awards from our customer service, because that's something we really do focus on. It really does.
You're clearly passionate about what you do. What do you enjoy the most about your job?
Ah, what I love is that when I get a notification from, when I get an email that comes through and someone, a customer, has actually wrote a review on our Google page saying that they've had an absolutely fantastic service. It's been second to none. That is what I love, because when I see that, it just shows to me that what we're doing here is working. It's going the way that we need it to go. So that I absolutely adore. I enjoy speaking to my customers, customers that I've had from the start, customers that I can have a great conversation with, um, and talk about really business, how things are going. And our customers have really been our main reason for our success, I suppose, because our customers, our loyal customers, have been there from the start. And you can't get any better than that. And also I love seeing the team grow as well. So I've got a fairly young team, and a lot of the team members that I've got here, they've started outside of the industry. They may have. I've got a few school leavers that have been here, that are here now. And what I love as well is that to see them grow into the position or into their role and succeed. That is what I love, and I see it all the time. They first walk into the office. It's all very new. They're so used to being at school, and they're like, well, what happens, what do I do? And there's a computer that they're using for the first time. They've got their own computer, and you see them, their confidence starts to increase, and as they're speaking to more customers, the confidence just increase even further. And a lot of my team here, the members have been here for 7 8 years from the start. So that's what I love, personal growth, and really with what we're doing with our own customers, and see the satisfaction from the customers as well from the experience that we give.
What career tips can you offer to someone that wants to do what you're doing?
Learn skills, and these can be done online. Learn things, sort of Google Sheets, Excel, all these sort of things that I do now, that I use day to day. Speak to people, get out, speak to a lot of people. Just get out of comfort zones. May do some video, get on social media, do video content. Just do things. I'm a strong believer of getting out your comfort zone once a day, doing things completely different than you would day to day, whether that is video content, whether it's to pick the phone up to speak to someone. I know it's very difficult this day and age of meeting people because we're not allowed to. But I started, if I rewind my career path right back to when I was 15, 16, I was working for was it? I think it was the co-op. Yeah, it was the co-op. I was actually working at the co-op, and I was working on the delicatessen counter, which was completely and utterly different to what I'm doing to this day. But I was actually serving hams and cheeses to the general public. And that was very daunting. The very first day starting there, I didn't have a clue about the different hams. I didn't have a clue about the different cheeses. I didn't have a clue how to weigh them. And lo and behold, I was just chucked in. And they said, right, can you deal with that customer over there? So straight away, you learn then dealing with people face to face, out of your comfort zone of how to deal with customers is the backbone of what I do to this day, because it's very daunting speaking to new people if you're not that confident, but it all comes down to confidence, I find. So my advice would be to maybe get a part-time job if you're still at school, get a part-time job, something like working in a supermarket, dealing with customers day to day, maybe in a cafe, maybe in Starbucks or somewhere like that, you've got that interaction with people, because all of a sudden it just gives some great life skills that you can take with you all the way through to your career, whatever that may be. And also don't set the career path on one particular thing. So if you think, right, look at me, for me in particular, I said, right, well, I want to be a graphic designer. That's what I want to do. I want to be a graphic designer. What that entailed, I didn't know, but I loved to draw. I loved the very sort of design aspect. I love that. But actually, I do that to this day still. So my website, it's all designed the way that I designed it. I do mail shots to customers, make sure the car looks in a certain way that's appealing. So once again, it's a skill that I took from something that I thought that I'll be doing, but actually, as my life progressed, it went like this: another door opened, then another door, then another door, and then I find myself with my own business. So speaking to people is definitely the key. First off, having the confidence rather than sitting at home on the PlayStation isolated. I know that this day and age, that's unfortunately that's what we're doing now. We can't do too much outside of the home with lockdown. But that being said, this is only for the short term. This time next year, I'm sure that if we have a conversation this time next year, COVID will be in the past and we'll probably have forgot about that. And we'll just get on with life normally. But yeah, life skills 100% and learn. I'm still learning to this day. So if there's, we do a thing where customers collect their cars and we film the vehicle. So as soon as the car arrives here, we don't tell the customer the car's arrived. And the reason we do that is that we film the vehicle. I use the mobile phone, so I film the vehicle inside and out. I'll then upload that footage onto a software, onto my computer, and I'll edit that video, make it look all attractive. I'll then send it to the customer saying, Mr. Customer, your car has now arrived. I'll see you in half an hour. That is so important because that just gives that excitement for that customer, and we put it on social media. So where I'm going with this, I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to be creative. But being creative, that's come from right from the beginning when I was at school. I've learned. So it's in a roundabout way, it's all the same, but just in a different way.
No time is ever wasted, is it?
No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
certainly not.
So what are your plans for the future?
Steady growth. So at the moment, the business has been trading with 20% growth year on year. This year, slightly a little bit diluted because of the obvious things around us. But next year, our plans are to increase the team. We're looking to get another 2 new finance partners on board. So that's in the wings at the moment. Looking for more social media content, more video content, investing more time into the team. And really the goal is the business Silverstone Fleet Management is actually split. So we split the business to maybe 18 months ago. So Silverstone Fleet Management, as it says on the tin, we deal with fleets and we manage fleets for customers, for businesses. We realised about 18 months ago, as you quite rightfully said, Amos, the personal contract hire, so the so personal customers, so customers that aren't in haven't got a business, they're leasing for themselves. That market has really increased. So we've set another business up called Embrace Leasing. Embrace Leasing looks after private individuals with, once again, market leading customer service at a great price. So that business is really doing well. The plans are for the future, maybe next year or the year after, to separate that into another building. So this barn here will just be solely Silverstone, and then we'll have another barn, I should say, if I'm visualizing that again, for Embrace Leasing as well. So we'll have two. That's the plans. But really for next year, it's to increase the business once again 25%. I may be on a bit of a back foot for next year because of this year, but really staying positive, just keep doing what we're doing, invest time and money into the team for training. Once again, training is the key to all things. Training the team is so important. Making sure that we've got the skill set there for everyone, and really just to see a steady growth for next year.
Well, sounds really exciting, and I'm sure Embrace is going to be taking off, and we'll all be knowing more about it. Speaking of which, how can we find out more about you? Where can people learn more about what you do, Scott?
I suppose really on the website, on the silverstonefleetmanagement.com website, you can go on there. There's a little bit about me, but really on LinkedIn. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. I tend to do 2 to 3 videos a week on there. And the main reason for that is that we have identified for many of a year that people buy from people. They don't particularly buy because of the product, they buy because of that person. They feel that when they see or hear someone, it gives them the confidence to deal with that individual. So the whole team, for the past 6 months, has been tasked to do a lot of video content, and we've seen a great success with that. And really, with LinkedIn in particular, the whole purpose of that is that when I put my messages over, I talk about all sorts of things. Brexit, I talk about the industry, I talk about how I'm feeling with what's going on, how I'm feeling with lockdown, how I'm feeling about the business, success stories about if I've got if something's great that's happened with a customer, and also if I've had a bad experience with a customer issue, I talk about that. How have we resolved that? What have we done differently? And just off the back of that, we have so many inquiries off the back of that because people want to deal with us. And really, it's just the awareness. So when someone's out, let's just say someone's out at the pub, let's say, and they're with their friend, and their friend says, "Oh, I'm really looking to lease a car. Do you know anyone?" Because we're very vocal and because we do a lot of things, social media, hopefully, Silverstone Fleet Management or Embrace will be on the top of their mind to push forward with us. So it's all exciting. It's all exciting times. But no, to find out more really is just go online or once again, pick the phone up. I'll talk to absolutely anyone if people want to know about various things or how to start things up, start businesses, how I've done certain things. Just pick the phone up and speak to me.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for sharing your success story with us. What a fantastic story, from doing graphic design in school, then wanting to join the police, but then following the advice to go and explore and try different things, and that opening doors for you and great opportunities that have come your way with the hard work, the visualization, the positive mental attitude, putting that same work ethic and positivity within your staff, which has ultimately led to your business growing, with now the new arm opening up with Embrace, which I'm sure is going to be very successful as well, using the skills that you learned from the start, from your creative media and graphic design, to be able to implement that in your business, understanding how important that is. It's so important. It's really good to see. And, it's for anybody watching this, whatever you're doing, it's never wasted. That skill that you've got will be needed at some point in the future. And Scott, you're a great example of that. Thank you so much for your story, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thanks very much, Amos.